Hello, everyone. This is Sabrina, and you are watching another episode of Coffee with Sabrina. Today, I have a fantastic guest with me. I cannot wait for her to share all of who she is and what she does. So, thank you so much, Tish, for being here today. So, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So, my name is Tish Smith. I am a registered nurse with 17 years of experience. I like to always tell people that I am the teenage statistic to spa loss. So that's kind of that's my story in a phrase. So when I say teenage statistic, something that I try to make sure is widely known about myself. That was something that I was ashamed of. When it was going on is I had my first daughter when I was 13. I had another daughter when I was 16, so 2 kids before graduating high school.
Wow.
Yeah, then I had my third daughter when I was turning 19, but then I also became a nurse when I was 19. So, and the story behind
So you did all of that with the babies and a new baby and wow.
Yeah, my kids when I went to nursing school were 6, 3, and newborn. Like wow. I literally took my nurse entrance test that morning, and I went in labor that afternoon. I came home from the hospital, having my daughter, and I got my acceptance letter and then started nursing school about 2 weeks later.
No one should have an excuse why they're not going back to school or why they're not doing something. They should not. Not after hearing this story today.
No, my grandmother had a joke that she would, because I was 19 when I became a nurse. My grandmother had this joke where she would be like, "But my baby, she can give you a narcotic, but she can't even buy liquor." So I mean, like she can save your life, but no liquor. So I mean, and being in healthcare, I think back then I probably needed it, but
yeah. What made you go into nursing school?
I always wanted to be in healthcare. Like I wanted to be a doctor. My dream was I was going to be an OB-GYN. I was going to see my own patients. I was going to, deliver all the babies, and that was a dream. Even when I was little playing the game of life, everybody knew, do not pick the doctor or I'm going to turn this whole board over. So everybody already knew that was just my thing. That's what I always wanted to do. And then just kind of in my lineage, most of them, they went to become CNAs, but nobody went to nursing school. I'm first generation to go to college, get a degree, become a nurse, all the things. But I also had my babies younger than everybody else too.
Exactly.
So I had something to prove.
But that is so much accomplishment. And like you say, it was embarrassment or whatever you were going through at that time. I love that you're sharing that with us today because there's so many people out there or individuals out there probably going through the same thing.
Yes,
and they want to move forward, but they don't know how.
Yeah, because there were so many. I remember even, and I tell people, I'm a project baby turned suburban. So when I say that means like I grew up in an impoverished area. I mean, I'm a Dallas native, and I grew up on 2nd and Hatcher. So over there in the East Dallas area, Southeast Dallas area. And when I say projects, I mean projects to the point to where there's a police station in your apartments. So that's project. So being over there and finding out you're pregnant, you're 13 years old, and mind you, I was 8 months and 3 days pregnant when I found out I was pregnant because that was God's plan. I'm telling you, that was God's plan. So yeah, it was crazy. So imagine I'm in 8th grade when I found out I was pregnant.
Wow.
So and people that so they have that TV show, I'm pregnant and I didn't know or whatever.
Yes.
That is true. That is so true. And you can get pregnant your first time, especially when you think you know everything.
Yes.
And I mean, honestly, God made it to where I didn't miss menses.
That's what I was just about to ask.
I was in cheerleading.
But did you know?
The whole time I was pregnant with my daughter, I gained 12 pounds. She was born at 7 pounds, 14 ounces.
Girl.
So what? I gained 12 pounds. God knew what he was doing. He was like, I'm going to protect this little baby.
Yes.
Because at 13 years old, there's no way. There's no way. And I'm definitely pro-life, but at 13, there's no way. There is no way. So, and at 13, your first time, and it was just kind of like, what? Even the doctors at Baylor, they were like, from my HCG levels, when they drew the blood, they were like, oh, you're 6 weeks. I was like, that's absolutely impossible. I only had sex one time, and that was way back, so they go, and then they're doing ultrasound, and they're like, okay, now wait. And, a couple more people come into the room, and they're like, oh, no. oh, you're 8 months and 3? Oh.
You're about to have this
You're
baby.
about to have this baby. So it was like, so I mean,
Wow.
so yeah, so God knew, he knew. And then, I mean, just moving past that, and like, this is a part of my story that I share with the girls that are in my nonprofit, Parents with Promise. So I do have a nonprofit, and that is for pregnant parents and teens. So because I can speak to them from a place of having been there, not from what I heard about.
Exactly.
I've been there, I've done that.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a world of difference. Especially, like I said, I can speak to them from being in the projects, in this impoverished environment, and the adults essentially bullying me because they find out that this 13-year-old is having a baby and they have so much to say. And even I had some friends whose their parents were like, oh, you can't be her friend, you can't play with her, and this, that, and the other. And and this sounds bad, but I love to see them now. And it's just like, oh, what's your kid doing?
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can understand kind of where they're coming from. But
those are the things that build you, because when you know who you are, I mean, at 13, you probably didn't know who you are, but it was already boiling, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you already had that drive in you.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing's going to really stop you.
Oh, no.
Nothing's going to stop you.
I consider myself to be pretty resilient when it comes to most things.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you that as a business owner, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing this again. And today is the last day. I quit. This is over. But
So you got your nursing degree, and then what did you do after?
well, I've worked in probably every capacity of nursing. I've worked in long-term care and geriatrics to pediatrics, home health, hospice, home health, LTAC, meaning like kindred and select specialty hospitals, to acute care from ER to tele to med surge. Pretty much, I have experience in probably every facet of nursing except ortho and oncology. Those are just not my jam. And psych, those are just not my jam. Even being a regional case mix director, so I have experience on the financial side of nursing also. So I did some of everything.
Wow.
And then I was haphazardly introduced to entrepreneurship by a lady that I met that she was trying to get her hospice license. And at the time I was like, okay, I mean, I don't mind helping you. She had already been through a CHAP survey and failed miserably. So I came on as her director of nursing, and we went through the CHAP survey and we passed. So now I'm excited. I'm like, oh, okay, so now I've gotten kind of bit by this entrepreneur bug, even though I'm still working my full-time job. But the marketing side of it destroyed me. I was like, no, sell this right now. I do not want to do this. I was not prepared for the marketing side.
I like that you said that, because as entrepreneurs, we think we can do everything. And in the beginning, we do everything, right? But we're not master of all trades when it comes to entrepreneurship.
We are not. And even hiring people, what I learned in hospice was you want to hire people with integrity. People can interview really, really well. They may look really, really good on paper. But when you observe them in their environment and you observe them working in things, you will see there are quite a few people that may not have as much integrity as you do. You can't expect you out of other people. And I was very, very, I would say, naive in business going into that particular, because we're hiring a marketer to go out and bring us patients back, and we're paying you a salary because that's what the market does. They pay a salary to these marketers that are supposed to bring these patients in, and then at the end of the month we're sitting here and I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, and we still have no patients, but you're still looking for your paycheck. And it's like,
so you had that deep challenge of knowing marketing was horrible. You wanted to even shut down because of that. How did you rise above that?
With the marketing in that business, I did not. I sold it.
You did.
I sold it, and I went back to the hospitals. I stayed at the hospitals for a while, and then I was going through just some body challenges. I mean, I was less than 30. I was like maybe in my early 30s, and I had already had all 4 of my daughters by the time I was 23, so I didn't get the chance to enjoy my body while everybody else was out enjoying theirs.
Yeah.
My kids had already wreaked havoc on mine, so I was looking at having a tummy tuck done, but I knew that what I was looking for, as far as the tummy tuck, it was not going to be something that I was going to find stateside. So I knew it was going to be medical tourism.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends, she actually put me in a group called DR Queens, and I started seeing all this really, really great work from the physicians, but really horrible medical advice from these surgery vets or surgery sisters that had surgery before. And I was like, no, that's not, like they would say, like a girl would go and she would post a picture of her incision and be like, oh, I think this is infected, and these girls, oh yeah, you should put this on it, it's infected. And I'm like, that is not infection, that wound is maturated, you need to just let it get some air, stuff like that. Or they're posting something and they're telling the girl her wound is open and they're like, oh, just put some Manuka honey on her. No. Or no, they're telling her to put some Neosporin on. No, that is not what you put on that. That's going to have to heal by second intention. You need to clean that, possibly go see wound care because you have some necrotic tissue. Like I'm starting to chime in and give them actual clinical advice. And so one day a girl from Austin, she's in my inbox and she's like, hey, Nurse Tish, can you take my drains out? She came back from DR. She's like, I can't find anybody to take my drains out. Because even if you have, even if you have surgery over here, if you don't go back to your surgeon, so if you live in Texas and you have surgery in Miami, when you come back from Miami, if you don't have that already lined up, most physicians here, they are not going to remove your drains. That's just not so, because once they touch it, they own it. And especially if it's not a cosmetic surgeon, they're not touching it.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, that's fine, but you have to come here and I'll take it out. We do this all the time at the hospital. I mean, no big deal. Okay. So I do this. Within 2 weeks, there's like 10 girls in my inbox asking me, can I take their drains out? And I'm like, let me see. So I ended up actually, because I could not figure out how to properly structure the business to protect my license, as well as I just didn't feel like it was that many people having surgery to be like, oh, I'm going to start this business. So for 3 years, I did post-op for free.
Oh my God.
Just because I wanted to help. But and I'm researching, and then it gives me a chance to actually see these doctors work in person and all this stuff. So
that was your training.
Exactly. That's your training, as well as I'm flying all over. Like I went to DR to do some training. I went to New York, Miami. I went to Colombia. I go get training every year just because there's always something that somebody knows that I don't know.
Yeah.
And what I do for manual lymphatic drainage, this is alternative medicine. It's not Western medicine. So it is additional training. So when I finally decided to get serious about my business, I'm talking to the ER doc, and me and him were talking like, well, Tish, you can't take orders from a doctor overseas. I'm like, you're right about that. So now I call the text water nurse and they kind of give me some information on how I have to have it structured and stuff like that. Then they tell me, oh, well, but cosmetic post-op care is not a regulated service.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm about to be kind of being the founder of this kind of thing. So, that's why, like I said, that's something that I'm diligently working on, is to make it something that is a regulated service. So I get me a medical director that I kind of just brought over from the hospice. So I get me a medical director and we are off to the races. Like my business kind of grabbed me and pulled me along because I was already seeing these girls coming into the emergency room with no idea of what to do, how to take care of themselves, no anything. And there still is a major gap between cosmetic surgery of any kind and recovery. That's where my niche is right there. That's where
you do offer a lot of other services.
We do. So our 3 primary services are the cosmetic post-op. We offer all GLP-1 medications for weight loss. So anything and everything that is going to make you beautiful on the outside as well as improve your health, I'm your girl. As well as we do all customizable IV hydration and things like that. Some of our other services that we do Botox filler, we do permanent makeup, and we do non-surgical BBLs.
Oh wow.
So anything and everything that's gonna make you feel good about you,
yes,
we do it.
So you started with one thing, but what inspired you to keep adding services like those?
So post-op is definitely how my business started. But IV hydration was just the next logical thing. Seeing these girls come in, when they come in, they've had surgery, they lose so much blood, they are not hydrating properly. And giving them that IV hydration, we already knew that it could help to flush out some of that anesthesia that they have in their system, as well as it helped them with their mobility. It helped give them some energy, and it just helped them it even helped them with their hemoglobin levels. Like, it would help to really perk them up after these surgeries, because when you have liposuction, they leave those drains open, so you're draining constantly for 7 days. So you're losing a lot of blood, and a lot of the ladies there, and you're tired. You just people look at it as just like it's a little nip tuck, but it's major surgery. Right. So imagine how you feel after any surgery, and then on top of that, you're draining for up to 7 days. Yeah. So you know what I mean.
So do you do like the B12, the vitamin shots, and all of that too?
Of course, all that comes along with that. That's all of that came in with our IV hydration stuff. So with IV hydration, we can do anything. We have up to 30 customizable drips. Anything and everything. We can address your energy levels. We can address libido. We can address hair, skin, and nails. We can address your immune system. We can do mommy and me cocktails that if you're nauseous, we can treat you for hangovers, food poisoning, you name it.
Wow, girl, I did not know you did all of that.
Yes.
I knew a little snippet of what you did. So that is fantastic. Is there anything else you do that you want to share with us?
Well, our major thing right now is the big wave across the nation, of course, is the GLP-1 medications, meaning like your Ozempic, your semaglutides, Wegovy, tirzepatide. So of course we do that, but we do ours a little differently. We do a 3D, we bring you in to do a 3D body scan, as well as we hold you accountable. I am that nurse that I am going to see you every week. We are going to get on this scale. If we have not made any progress, we're going to talk about it. Yeah. And if we continue, before we decide to go up to increase your dosage, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going to say, what are you eating? And what are you drinking? Because if you're drinking lots of alcohol and things like that we know have a lot of empty calories,
right,
we're not going to progress. So I'd rather you get the results that you want and have something positive to say about Vanity than you don't get the results that you want and have something negative to say. So if we continue and we're not seeing some results, we're going to make some adjustments. We're going to add in some interventions and things like that. But if you come in time and time and tell me, well, Tish, I just cannot stop eating cookies, cakes, and pies, I'm saying, yeah, we may need to do something different because,
That's crazy.
So I will hold you accountable. If you come in and you're not losing weight, and and I expect for you to be honest with me, and you tell me, well, friend, I ate shrimp balls and German chocolate cake all week. Friend.
How do you expect to have any?
It's not. Yeah. So, and I've had some ladies tell me, well, I think we just need to go up on my dosage. We will go up on your dosage. As it's recommended, as you're supposed to, because I can't just move your dosage around. Yeah. But while you're on this, I need for you to have a mind shift change, because if not, this is not going to be something sustainable for you when you're off.
So you're not just offering services, you're kind of like offering some coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Health and wellness also.
Of course, yeah. Because when you look good, you feel good, you perform better. It's just like when you go get dressed up and you go out and there's not very many people out. When you leave, you're like, okay, no, we have to go to another spot because then enough people see me dressed up. Yes, I look good. Not enough people saw me, so I need to go to another location. So yeah,
I did that recently. I was dressed up to go out and couldn't go again. And I FaceTimed my friend, my mentor, and I said, "You're gonna have to look at me because I'm looking too damn good right now for no one to see."
Somebody got to see this. So that's always my mission. Like for every woman, is I want them to every day they wake up, is to feel like, oh, somebody got to see this.
Yes.
So whether there be.
But not only that, you feel good about yourself. Like I love when I look in the mirror that I like what I see. So it makes you walk more in confidence also.
It does. And when you're more confident, it's scientifically proven, like you're more productive.
Yes.
You're more ambitious. You're even more of a risk taker.
Yes.
Like it just does positive things for your life all the way around. You sure don't put a with people's bullcrap when you're more confident.
Right, definitely. Yeah. So is this all self-pay or do you work with any insurance?
I do not take any insurance. However, we do have in-house payment plans. We take care credit, and we even take FSA and HSA that you get from your employer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we do take those forms of payment, but no insurance.
Okay. Cool. Well, I want to touch a little bit because you just kind of went over that really quickly. I want to touch a little bit on your nonprofit if you want to share that with us.
Okay, so my nonprofit is Parents with Promise. It is for girls ages, well, not just girls, but girls and boys ages 13 to 23 that are pregnant and or parenting. The premise for Parents with Promise is we are helping our youth that are pregnant and parenting to obtain the resources and skills that they need to become independent of government assistance. I'm not saying that using government assistance is anything bad. However, we do not want this to become a crutch, because when it becomes a crutch, then you go through life surviving and not thriving. So we will teach you to use any government assistance, if you have to, as a stepping stool, not as a crutch. So we offer financial literacy. We are working on getting a maternity home as well as a transitional home for the teens that don't have anywhere else to go. Or once they've turned 18 or 19 and they've completed level 1 of the program, if they want to move into the apartment, they can do that, and a portion of their rent will go for the down payment for their first home.
Oh, wow.
So so we are trying to create more leaders. We don't want any more, I would say, welfare dependent individuals. We're trying to, we're trying to also kind of teach them and instill in them that, things happen.
Right.
This probably won't be the last thing that happens.
Yeah.
But the pitfalls and the different tribulations and things like that myself and others like me that have already gone before you, the ones that we've already endured, you don't have to. We're going to help you kind of sidestep those things and fast track you to getting where you ultimately want to be for you and for the baby.
Right. So are you running this on sponsorship, donations? How are you running?
On donations and capital. So we do quarterly community baby showers.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I am now a partner with DISD as well as a volunteer with DISD. I am working to become partners with more. So if anybody knows of any teens 13 to 23 that are pregnant and or parenting that need that help, or just kind of guide that mentorship, then send them my way.
I have someone that actually is having a seminar, because she too was a teen mom, and she's having a seminar I think in January.
Be there. I need to
so
be there.
Yes, I do need to get you connected with her so that you guys can.
I need to be there. Because like I said, when they had Teen Summit, I would go and speak at Teen Summit, and I've always had Parents with Promise on my heart, because I was an emancipated minor, a homeless teen, all the things. And so I know the situation that you are in. And a lot of times the information and things like that we get from our family, it's not because they don't love us, but they are teaching us from their level of experience.
Right.
So if they never, came out of having to depend on government assistance, they can only educate you from where they are.
Right. Exactly. So based on everything you said today, if you had to give 3 tips to individuals out there, whether it's personal or business, what would you share with us today?
Do what makes you feel good. I don't care about what other people say or whatever. You do what makes you feel good. Know that to whom much is given, much is required. When you are blessed and somebody pours into you, pay it forward. Pour into somebody else. That's how your blessings come. And the third thing is,
tell us something about your business. Like what a business tip. What would you give?
A business tip.
Yes. Because you've been through some stuff yourself.
I have. Develop leaders, not employees. I don't want to develop employees. I want to develop leaders.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes. And that's hard.
That's
because I think in everything we go through in our businesses, finding the right fit employee is the hardest thing. But you and I met recently, not very long ago, at the Goldman Sachs program, and we did an exercise creating culture.
Yes.
And so that's the one thing that I have always had in my insurance business. I've had that for 12 years, and I've always had culture. And even though I've had a culture, it's been really, really hard to bring people to fit into that culture. But doing that exercise have opened up so much for me. And even in my interviewing process, I'm asking the right questions and things like that, or even being very specific with my next hire, I think is going to be perfect for our culture.
I think so too. So for me, my culture was so lax. It was because I felt like people don't want to be led. That's how I felt. And I mean, that was some of my limited belief that, people don't want to be led, or people don't want to be led by me, is some of the limited belief that I had.
Right.
But now it's just kind of like, I understand that in order for Vanity to grow and become the household name that I know she will be, I have to essentially get people that are going to work for Vanity. Like I tell everyone, you don't work for me. You don't work for Nurse Tish. You work for Vanity. I work for Vanity. You work for Vanity. We all work for Vanity. She tells all of us what to do.
Right.
So what I'm learning is they have to buy into that Vanity dream. And if they don't buy into it, then, like you said, they're not a good fit for the culture. You can't.
Right. Yeah. And that's tough. I am hiring next year, and I'm in the process of. Yesterday, actually, I was talking to my recruiter, and she's like, "Okay, and this," and I said, "And I'm not swaying. Don't call me with something that you think is so great that I wouldn't pass up, because this is what I want."
Yes.
Because I've hired in the past with my heart and not my head, and what the business needs. So this time it's a little bit different.
Oh yeah, as a business owner, I feel like we can have compassion and use our heart, but that's after you've already come onto the team. We've already developed some type of relationship. When in this interview process and you're sitting across from me, I cannot hire you from, you had such a good interview. We talked and we go hang out. No. Like I said, you have to keep it in mind and at the front of your mind. What does my business need?
Yes.
And ask those specific questions. And I've even learned, even for me, something that I am going to implement when I do my hiring process is, okay, come start an IV right now. Yeah. Because if you can't stick,
right.
What's my that's what I've done. And people can't stick, and I'm like,
that's what you need.
And now I'm sitting here and I'm spending 3 weeks trying to teach you to stick, and
wow.
It's so much waste of time. I just think about it, I'm like, why did I do that to myself?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I would love to sit here and chat for more time, because I there's so many things I didn't know about you that I'm learning today. But before we end today, is there anything you would like to share with the audience?
Well, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Vanity Wellness and Body, PLLC. And our office number is 214-210-3299. If you have any questions, it can be questions about Parents with Promise, it could be questions about Vanity and our services, or if you just want to get to know me better. I'm always open to new friends.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know we tried to do this before.
It was that program.
Right?
It was consuming our life.
Yes. It was, but you know what? It was such a great program.
It was amazing. Now, like I said, I was all emotional because it was like, I need my safety blanket. It became they did a great job of setting culture standards from day one.
They did.
They did. And I think it translated over. And so even now, it's like I have this large group of people that understand. Listen, this is a bad week. Where are we drinking it?
Right.
Yes.
So I was talking to one of our classmates, I think 2 days ago, and we talked about that how it was orchestrated for us to be together for this group, because we are so connected. And I'm not saying that the others are not connected, but we are connected in a different way.
For sure.
We are.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
But again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. You've just watched another episode of Coffee with Sabrina. Please also follow us. As you guys know, we are doing this recording here at beautiful Brasilia Studios, which Brasilia Studios was 1 year old yesterday. I'm so excited for that. Yes, 1 year anniversary. And I forgot that I really wanted to put balloons and celebrate, but we didn't do that. So I am saying it here. We are 1 year old yesterday. So just follow us if you have any questions. You know, I'm Sabrina Hussein. Until next time, bye-bye.